Hello. Sorry for my camera getting set up. It is 7:01. At least on mine. There's this crazy lag. I have the computer plugged into a power source today, so I should be good. Oh, we've got echo. Hang on. At least on mine. There's this crazy lag. There we go. Okay, muted and ready to talk about quilling. Today's Try It Tuesday. I'll start getting stuff out here in a minute, but as a reminder, comment in the comment field while I'm doing my project. You can ask a question, you could ask me to try something, you can comment on how it looks or whatever. I have the comment window open, and as I'm kind of working through the project, I'll make sure to try and answer your questions. Anyone who leaves a comment during the live, hopefully we'll get some people joining here. Anyone who leaves a comment will get a prize on Win It Wednesday. Every time you check in to this live and leave a comment, so not every time you comment today, but today would count as one, and if you came next week, that would count as one. So every time you join me and leave a comment, you get entered. And then Win It Wednesday, I'll go live and just do a super quick drawing to see who wins, and you'll get to win something or things that I have made on one of the Try It Tuesdays. And this is our Try It Tuesday today, the 5th, and we'll have 2 more Try It Tuesdays before that. So make sure you join in 7 o'clock, and we'll see how it goes. People love prizes, so hopefully you'll be joining. I'm going to tip the camera down now here so we can start working on this little quilling project. So I'm going to cover it up so I don't make you seasick. All right, so hang on. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. Okay. Now, quilling is another paper art. And this is the art of, I think, like twirling or curling paper. Quilling. Yes, it is quilling. And this kit, I just put it in this box so I had it handy. But this kit I got for Christmas from someone at my office who drew me in a thing at work and who knows that I'm crafty. And this is something she had always wanted to try. And then the theme for that particular gift exchange was buy something that you would like for yourself, which is what she did. So this is something she's always wanted to try that she hasn't tried, and she knew I was crafty and bought it for me so I could try it. And the kit comes with this little circle stencil thing, which is great. I think this would be used, I could easily use it for any number of other things. And this one is really nice and sturdy. I have this other one I bought and it's super flimsy and it's already broke in a few places. So it's nice to have one that's a little sturdier, that might last a little longer. So that's really nice to just have. Then this little kit comes with this cute little bottle of glue. This is the quilling tool here. It's got a handle, and then there's a little slit inside this stick where the paper goes. So I said way back when I was in like high school, 4-H, we had done a quilling thing. But I haven't done any since then. So I kind of understand the general principle, but don't have a whole lot of experience. I'm not sure what this little bowl is for. Maybe for glue or something. And look at this. Here's these little Q-tips. I'm not sure what these are for either. We'll take the little tag off. The little tie. And has this cute little bow. This is, I reuse all of those kinds of things, of course. I'm going to keep that definitely. All right. Put that there. Then, in this package, you can see these paper strips. Oh. Pull these out. And they're all kind of attached like you would see in like a little like post-it notepad or something. So we'll put those over here for right now. Oh, look at, there's all kinds of other really cool things in here. I think I hadn't even flipped this over because the instruction book was hiding it. There's scissors. Always handy. I've got a million of them, but it's always handy. Tweezer, which looks nice. It's got a nice fine point tip. I always like a good tweezer for crafting. I have a few over here, but some of them... My husband unclogged the drain with one, and it's never really pinched very well after that. So that one might be a nice new addition. But I do a lot of diamond painting, and they'll come with tweezers a lot of times too, so I have a few. Ooh, these cute little beads and gems. Love it. I don't know what those will be for, but we'll set those over there. Some doilies. Now there's all kinds of, maybe I don't need to take all this out right now, but there's all kinds of really cool, these little signs. These are the envelopes. And then these must be the cards in here. Yeah, so that looks like a card. That'll get folded up. And then decorated for whatever theme. And there's, I think, 2 cards in there. 2 or 3. Different colored paper, which is nice. So I'll just move that out of the way for now. And then the instructions, which are probably the most vital part of the whole thing, I would think. All right. So, very simple. The directions say, prepare a quilling strip, put it in the slotted tool, roll it, and there it's finished. That's a tight coil. And then create a tight coil. To make it loose, create a tight coil, then loosen it up to the satisfied thickness, and then glue it. And then a teardrop. So it's showing the different techniques. So you make that, start with the tight, you make it loose, then you take the loose and you use the tweezer to pinch them all into this little pointy teardrop shape. There's an eye, which would be pinched on both sides, leaf shape, a crescent, which is a little bit different. So it all seems to start with the tight coil, and then you go from there to do these different techniques for shapes. Ooh, here it shows how to do flowers, and which kind of coils to make the different petals and things. So that's really cute. And then here are the card suggestions. So this is really nice because it doesn't really mandate what you need to do, but it makes these suggestions, and that's probably based on the colors and the amount of different paper strips that there are. But let's just see. So we can practice this and see how it goes. Okay, I will start. I don't know where I use these brown ones. I don't even really see the brown ones on there. I think they're calling that cyan. Maybe they're thinking this brown is more of a red. So let's assume that is the case. All right, so we can practice. So I'm going to pull one of these off. And whoop, those are just for the glue. So this must be to just help me glue. I can put that there. I can put a little bit of glue on this tray. This plastic probably makes it really easy to clean. Well, this glue doesn't come out very easily. Oh, they've got it all blocked off in here. Yeah, I'm not going to spend my time cracking that open right now. I have plenty of glue. This is glue. So I'll just use this. Okay. So, well, I hurt it. That's okay. It gives us at least something to practice with here. See, the fun of live. Okay. So to do it, again, take the paper, slip it into this little coily thing, and then just wrap it around by turning it. Seems pretty easy. There it goes. Turn, turn, turn. I almost feel like I need some music on. Is it too quiet? Okay, so roll it, and then the directions say put a little bit of glue. And secure it. Oh, well, apparently I didn't hold my glue long enough. But that's the quill. So that seems really easy and pretty fast. And then the fun part is probably making the different shapes. So if I make one and make it loose, right, that's a loose one, I would say. I've got some glue there, right? So that's loose. And then once I have the loose, it says kind of arrange the coils so they're evenly spaced. So spread them out a little bit better. So it does end up with some that are a little bit tighter and looser. I can for sure see that. So I'm just kind of using the tweezer to loosen it up. Like if you look on this outside edge, they're all pretty tight. So I'm going to just loosen them up. Try to anyway. That's maybe the hardest part. Might be easier without the tweezer actually. Okay, there we go. Well, it's still not perfect. And then pinch to make a point. So the art of it must be trying to kind of make sure that you don't end up like I did with some of these little clusters, but to have it more fanned out. So that's good to know. And then I would be pinching both ends. Oh, keeping the middle in. Like that. That does look like an eye. The leaf shape is actually then kind of curling it. Curling this end and this end. So that's interesting. I probably want it a little bit looser yet, but that's their idea of the leaf pattern. You could also pinch the other corners to make a square. So it's really, once you get it laid out properly. So the most challenging part seems to be just getting it, once you've coiled it up, having it spread out a little bit nicer. So I'm going to see if I go from the beginning, because again, we're going to try this. If I go from the beginning and maybe don't wrap it on quite as tight, and while I have the tool on it, it might be easier for me to loosen it up in a way that spreads the little coils out. So let's just see. So I'm wrapping this up and it looks tight, but I'm not pulling it as tight as I had before. So this is kind of a loose, tight coil, I guess. If you can have something that is that, this would be it. All right, so. And then I'm going to take it and try to kind of control my loosening in my hand a little bit here. I don't want it to totally explode. Ooh, but that looks pretty good. Okay. It's maybe a little bit more, but I think it is easier to loosen it for sure before you glue it. Like before I had it kind of glued and then I was tightening it up. and knowing that it needs to be fanned out more helps me kind of go in with that intention. So that'd be my first big takeaway tip for Try It Tuesday for quilling. Make sure if you're going to do a shape or want a loose coil, especially if you want to do a shape, make sure you kind of go in knowing that you want the little wraparounds to be kind of evenly spaced. And before you glue it, kind of get it there. All right, and I'll let that. There we go. That one's pretty good. Could probably with the tweezer go in still and space it out even a little bit more. The glue is dry and set. Yes, that's much easier to kind of manipulate and get it to where I want it. Okay. Doesn't necessarily stay that way very well. Again, interesting things you learn along the way. It's definitely a Try It Tuesday experiment, I would say. There we go. That's kind of getting it back to where I like it. So I'm just kind of rewrapping it again here because I almost pulled it apart a little bit too much. Ooh, although I didn't then also lose my glue. There we go. That's pretty small, but loose. Okay. This is fun. This is a good Try It Tuesday because this is definitely something that I've never done that I think if you're going to do it, it would help to see somebody else doing. So if we look at the card, probably make the shapes first and then put it together, I think. So if I look at how they tell us to make the flower petals, once you get the basics down, purple loose coils. Oh, and this tells us the size. That's what this is for. I had been wondering. So this kind of tells me how big the size should be. So it starts out to make 3 purple flowers and create the loose coils in the 16th inch, which I need to flip over. No, I guess I had it right before. 10, I was looking at it upside down. 15, 16. So here's the 16, right? And this is just about the right size, maybe a little bit bigger. So that will help me know what size to make these. And then after I make them, create 5 teardrops from loose coils. Create a sky blue tight coil. So this is for the 3 flowers on this card. Okay, so let's try a couple of those. So let's go to the purple. I'm going to pull these browns out of the way. Now take a purple out and purple loose that fit in the 16th inch. Oh, I don't have it in here tight. Okay, try to make sure it's straight. There we go. This would actually be really good for the bead making that I've done. I would think this is a similar principle when I use the toothpicks. It's getting it kind of wrapped around. So I would think this little quilling tool might come in handy for my paper beads too if I decided not to do them on a toothpick. I think this might be a useful tool. Oh, I have a question. All right. Does that paper have some kind of stiffness or wire in it? It does not. This feels like maybe it's thicker than your regular like thin paper, but it's not even as thick as like a cardstock sheet. So it's maybe your ordinary paper weight is 25 to 35 pounds. This is maybe a little bit more than that, maybe a 50 pound. It's not as heavy as a cardstock, which is usually 80 to 110. So it's kind of a heavier paper, but not cardstock for sure. Good question. All right, I'm gonna wrap this around. Okay. Then this is supposed to fit in the 16th, which is this circle. So I'll kind of loosen it up inside the frame of this circle here. Just slide that metal out. This gives me a good size kind of guideline. I don't think it has to be perfect, of course. All right, this seems about right, and actually the spiral on this looks really good. Nice and spread out. So I'll get my little glue. Put some glue down on the end here, like so. And then glue that down. I'm going to hold it for a little bit longer. So like 10 seconds or so. There we go. Okay. And that, I think, looks really good. Let me hold it up. Hopefully you can see it. The delay makes it hard for me to know if you're seeing it close enough, if I have my angle right or not. Yeah. But that seems to be the right size. It fits inside my 16th. The coil spread, actually, if I hold it on this piece of paper, you might see it better. The coil spread on that, tip it a little, that looks really good in terms of tightness versus looseness. And I'm supposed to make 5 of those. I'm sure this gets faster as you go. So let's put the next one in. Quill. It's probably a nice thing to do when you're just kind of sitting and watching TV or videos or listening to music. It doesn't require, like, once you get it on the little spindle, you can look away, you can chat, you can do whatever. And it's not overly difficult or complicated as you're kind of working on it. So I like that. You know, people who are really good at quilling, they can make some really amazing art. I'm not there yet, but you got to start somewhere, right? And try it. See if you like it. I've always liked paper flower art. Not necessarily quilling specific, but paper flower art. I think it's really pretty. Actually, I have a paper flower die cutting and shaping gadget. Well, I guess the gadget is really just my regular die cutting machine, but I have dies and then like a pressing tool from Heartfelt Creations that I bought before Christmas, I think Black Friday. They started this big sale on things they were retiring, and it actually wasn't a Black Friday sale. I think that's just right about the time they started it, and it went as supplies lasted through the end of the year. And I got these really pretty paper flower die cuts or dies, and the paper making thing. And I haven't used it yet because I was so focused on doing all my Christmas cards, which were not paper flowers. So maybe next Try It Tuesday we'll try that gadget and see how it goes. There's 2 paper flowers. And if anybody else has, you know, a try it idea, certainly let me know. I know I had a question about beads, and I can do a Try It Tuesday on beads or even a separate just bead tutorial video. It's kind of the fun of these, is that it opens up opportunity to talk about more things. So this isn't bad. It would take a while though. It's almost 7:30, and really I've only quilled a few, although part of it was just figuring out exactly how it works, but this probably takes a little while, but not terrible. Well, I also see in the teardrops there's kind of a different technique, so maybe once I do this one, I'm going to try this teardrop technique, because when I'm looking at the instruction sheet, they're really fanned and pretty, which is different than the straight kind of teardrop thing that I think I made before. So we're going to have to check this out in a sec here. All right, put this in. This little circle tool is super handy because it gives me the ability to kind of get it the right size and open it up without it completely exploding, because the plastic, it's not thick, but it's thick enough that I can kind of set the paper in there and let the force of gravity, or what, inertia, or whatever it might be, inertia I suppose, do its thing. So let's go with that. Now don't forget, if you have questions, put them in the chat. Everyone's quiet. Ooh, there's also apparently this company that makes these has an instructional video on YouTube, so I could always watch that too. I can share that link if anybody just wants to watch it and see what this is all about without having the kit. But if you got the kit, like I said, I think she just got this on Amazon. If you had the kit, you could certainly get the kit on Amazon and then go and of course watch those videos. Well, that's just how it should work. Okay. So I'm going to set this one aside because the glue is probably still a little wet, and go with one of these early ones. Now, as I said on that instruction guide, it says to space them out to make this teardrop. Arrange the inner coils so they're evenly spaced, which they are, and then pinch sharply at the tip to make a point. And then it looks really cool and fanned. And I don't know that mine did, but let's give it another, give it another shot here. Maybe then there's more spacing to be done after. So there's really tight. Yeah, I can see how it gets there. Mine doesn't look quite like that, but I can definitely see why you want to have it evenly spaced. Because this one kind of starts out right, and then it seems like it's clumped up here. So let me try another one. And I wonder if on that YouTube video they give you some tips for how to get it more spaced out. I don't know. It's a good question, right? Just gonna see if I can nudge it. I'd say that's the one thing I'm finding most challenging, is how to get this spaced out a little bit better. So I know they say to use the tweezer, but I'm not finding the tweezer to be a super effective tool. There we go. That's maybe a little bit better. But then I feel like as soon as I touch it again, yeah, that's definitely the challenge. This must be what makes it such an art form. It's making sure you get the spacing right. So when you kind of smush it into the shape, it has a really good, pretty look to it. That has to be the challenge. I'm just kind of futzing with this, trying to get this spacing to be a little bit better. If I think of where I want the bottom, maybe I can do it better that way. And use my tweezer like instructed. Right. There we go. It's just a little bit of fidgeting. More than I thought I'd have to do, but that's okay, I guess. Alright. Then pinch. Well, it's a little bit better. You can see how it makes the petal. There you go. It's definitely something that one probably has to practice. Let's see how this one goes. This one actually seems really well spaced, so I'm just going to try this one. Yeah, that one turned out pretty cool. I like this one the best so far. Definitely the magic is in how well you have it spaced out. There you go. So that's pretty nice. So that would make the petal. So you do 5 of those, that's 3. There'd be 2 more. And that would make the petals for this flower. Then they have you do the yellow and the blue. And then it walks through how to make these leaves. So let's just check on the leaves. I won't make you watch me do all of this other stuff. So the leaves are a loose coil of green. So let's get to the green. Okay. There we go. Nice green strip. And I'm supposed to use the 13, which is this one. So it's that circle right there that I'll be using to size it once I curl it up. So again, put it in the little holder. So it just goes in like that, right? And roll it. And that little tiny holder really makes rolling it super easy, which I like. And just spiral it around. I don't think it even has to be perfectly straight. Just want to keep it on the little stick there. My shape's a little oblong. I think I didn't have enough of the middle inside the stick, but that's okay. Again, it's all about trying and learning. That's another tip. I'd say make sure you have all of the paper inside the little strip holder. So inside this little groove, make sure all the paper's in. I had a little bit hanging out, and so I can feel it and I can see it in there. Makes it a little less perfect. Okay, so then I'm supposed to make my shape about that size. And then have a piece of it loose. So kind of like this, I guess. And then glue that down. Had to find my glue. Okay. And then these are the little kind of I think it's stem and leaf effect that this is supposed to have. Push my glue down. And if you look at the picture, And this is the one, right? It has kind of that stem and leaf decorative effect. So there's 4 of those. And then the last step, I think, is to make these centers, which is just a loose, or it's a tight coil, actually, just a tight coil. And then arranging it on the card. So it's not terribly easy to do it. I think it's more difficult to master than to do, I guess. Do you roll it away or toward yourself? I don't think it matters. It probably depends on if you're left or right-handed and what you feel comfortable with. It doesn't really matter because you'll flip it over. This one's the same color on either side, and you just flip it over to face whichever. It's a good question. All right, well, it's 7:35-ish. I don't know that we need to go through a whole lot more of these, but it was trying it, and that was fun. I think the tips are really, the kit is nice because the paper strips are the right weight. They're already cut. Certainly, you can buy kits like this, and I'm sure I could cut my own paper as well if I really wanted to. You know, make sure you've got a good sticky glue. Make sure that when you're trying to do anything with the loose spiral, I say kind of adjust it loose while it's on the little holding tool or in the circle, because the more evenly, like this one, the more evenly you can get the loops before you pinch it, the better it looks, the better effect it has. And that's really where the art, I think, of this comes in. And then also when you put it inside the little slit in the tool, make sure you have the paper all the way in. Ooh, how wide are the strips of paper? Well, they look like a 1/4 inch. Let's see. My little grid mat here is 1/4 inch grid. So, yep, 1/4 inch. I think that's standard thickness for quilling. And that's really, this little tool is designed, I think, to take a 1/4 inch just based on the depth of it. And that seems pretty standard. So I like it. It's not necessarily something I would have bought for myself, but I think it was fun to try and do. And I always enjoy some little crafts. I think it's something where if I made these flowers, it would be really cute. Like when I look at these, and I know they're for a card, but this would be really a hard card to mail for sure. So for me, I would probably do it and make something to hang up. I think a decorative thing to hang up would be fun. Maybe on a background of some kind of painting or collage or something I did to pop that out because I like flowers. That would be fun. On the cover of a journal or even a box. If I made like a little gift box or something, it'd be fun on there. If I did a really fancy gift card, it would be fun maybe to do a small one of these on a little fancy gift card for somebody that would go with their present, that would say who it was from because I don't have to send it in the mail. So any of those would be good. I certainly put this through the mail, but for things like that, I think it would be fun. I don't know how they fit in those envelopes, so that'll be something interesting to try and see, because they gave me envelopes, but I just don't know how they would even fit in there. And then they gave me the little gems too, which I'm not sure. I don't really see where they used those, but that's okay. So there we go. We tried quilling today. I thought it was fun. Next week, I'm thinking we will try paper flowers with my paper flower die cut machine and the paper flower press. We'll give that a shot. But if somebody else has a different idea, we can always do something different. That's just where my head is at today, and who knows what might change between today and next week, Tuesday. Thank you for joining. Thank you for commenting and asking questions. I may do a live again this weekend if I have something fun to share. I've been working on my planner that I showed on Sunday. If you do any kind of planner, take a look at my video. It is in the Lisa's Paper Hearts Facebook page, and you can see kind of what I'm planning with my planner, which I think is fun, my super creative planner. I haven't done any of the creative pages yet, but I have put the planner together and started writing in it. So definitely check out that video if you're interested in planners. Have a great Tuesday, and we will chat again soon. Good night.